What if the difference between sitting cramped in economy and sipping champagne in business class wasn't luck, wealth, or elite status, but strategy? Every year, airlines quietly leave thousands of premium seats flying half empty, while millions of passengers remain packed in the back, convinced upgrades are reserved for the privileged few. This perception isn't accidental. It's the result of decades of careful revenue management systems, psychological nudges, and data-driven algorithms engineered to protect the illusion of exclusivity. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, the stakes have only grown higher. Airlines are rebuilding profit margins with ruthless efficiency, and every square inch of cabin space is part of that chessboard. Business class seats can generate up to 5 times the revenue of economy, yet when they go unsold, they represent pure financial loss. To avoid this, carriers employ a layered system of last-minute inventory releases, targeted soft upgrades, and preferential algorithms that quietly reshuffle passengers based on perceived loyalty, spending potential, and even appearance. These aren't random acts of kindness. They are controlled leaks in a tightly guarded economic machine. Today, we will dismantle that machine. We'll reveal 6 upgrade strategies the industry never wanted passengers to understand, and explore the economic forces that shape who gets to move forward and who stays behind. The first crack in the system hides in plain sight: the check-in window. Airlines project an image of order and fairness, yet behind the scenes they operate with predictive models that constantly adjust seat allocations in real time. Officially, check-in opens 24 hours before departure, and this is when most passengers rush to secure their boarding passes. But industry insiders know the real opportunity doesn't come at 24 hours. It comes at 23 hours and 45 minutes. This 15-minute delay is not superstition, it's economics. Carriers release upgrade inventory in waves, the first being reserved for elite status customers who check in early. If those priority travelers don't claim the remaining premium seats, a second wave quietly opens as the system seeks to avoid flying empty, high-cost assets. This small window is where data-driven logic collides with human behavior. Airlines rely on passengers acting predictably, checking in as soon as possible or waiting until they reach the airport. By doing the opposite, you step into a gap the algorithm wasn't designed to close. Aviation analysts note that premium class seats generate disproportionate revenue, up to 30% of total flight income, from less than 10% of seats. So even a single unsold business class seat represents a meaningful financial leak. In response, airlines let the system flag a few economy passengers as potential upgrades during this hidden interval. Frequent flyers call it the ghost upgrade window, and it exists because modern revenue systems prioritize maximizing seat occupancy over rigid hierarchy. Understanding this window is less about luck and more about knowing how profit logic bends the rules for those who dare to time their move perfectly. While algorithms dictate most seat assignments, the final authority often rests in human hands, and that human is the gate agent. Airlines train these frontline staff not just to process passengers, but to protect the brand's image, which means they are allowed a narrow but powerful discretion to upgrade travelers at their own judgment. Contrary to public belief, this isn't purely about loyalty tiers. It's about perception, emotion, and operational pressure. Industry consultants point out that a single last-minute disruption, like an oversold seat or a misseated VIP, can cost an airline thousands in compensation and delays. Gate agents are expected to diffuse such risk quickly, and they naturally favor passengers who appear cooperative, composed, and worth impressing. This is where the psychological tactic known as the soft complaint comes in. Instead of demanding an upgrade outright, experienced flyers use empathetic language. "I'm wondering if there are any options for my seating situation. I have an important presentation tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get some rest." This phrasing does 2 strategic things. It frames the passenger as reasonable, and it casts the agent as the hero solving a problem. Former gate staff admit they often reward pleasant, well-presented travelers because doing so lowers the risk of confrontation, protects operational flow, and aligns with the airline's service image. Approaching them 45 minutes before boarding, when the boarding chaos hasn't begun, maximizes this effect, giving them time to scan the system for openings. In an industry where perception shapes profit, Influencing how the gate agent feels can momentarily outweigh what the algorithm says. Behind the polished facade of order, modern airlines run on controlled chaos. And nowhere is this clearer than in their overbooking strategies. Every major carrier deliberately sells 10 to 15% more tickets than there are seats, relying on predictive algorithms that forecast no-shows based on route history, season, and passenger behavior. This practice cushions revenue but creates a high-stakes puzzle at the gate. When everyone shows up, someone must be bumped. What most passengers don't realize is that this crisis can become their golden ticket. When a flight is oversold, gate agents must reshuffle seating to free up space, and they often move economy passengers into premium cabins to do it. Analysts call this a yield protection maneuver, because leaving a paid passenger stranded costs far more than quietly upgrading someone to resolve the logjam. The trick is positioning yourself as the solution, not the problem. Travelers who arrive early, monitor the seat map, and discreetly signal their flexibility, "I'm happy to help if needed," can turn a logistical liability into an opportunity. Routes prone to overbooking, like Monday morning business shuttles or holiday peaks, magnify these chances. From an economic standpoint, it's a calculated risk. A last-minute upgrade costs the airline nothing if that seat would have flown empty, yet it saves them hundreds in compensation payouts and schedule delays. Industry experts note this pattern has intensified post-COVID-19 pandemic as airlines operate leaner schedules with fewer backup crews. In short, overbooking is a pressure valve, and if you present yourself as the perfect release, the system may propel you forward. While airlines rarely admit it publicly, image is currency, and this extends to who gets upgraded. Internal training manuals from several major carriers include a subtle guideline. Complimentary upgrades should align with the airline's brand standards. Translated, that means passengers who look like they belong in business class are statistically more likely to be chosen when seats open. This isn't vanity, it's marketing logic. Premium cabins are the visual showcase of an airline's brand, the space filmed for ads and remembered in reviews. Seating someone who appears disheveled risks eroding that image, while placing a polished traveler reinforces the illusion of exclusivity that drives high-margin sales.
Here are your passport and ticket.
Aviation analysts note that business class often generates 5 to 10 times the profit per square foot compared to economy, so airlines protect its aesthetic like a luxury storefront. Frequent flyers exploit this bias through what behavioral economists call the halo effect, projecting subtle symbols of affluence such as a leather laptop bag, noise-canceling headphones, or tailored clothing in muted colors. These cues tap into unconscious heuristics, prompting staff to assume the passenger is a premium customer already. Former cabin crew confirm this instinctive filtering. When forced to upgrade someone, they pick the candidate who won't look out of place to other business travelers. It's superficial, yes, but it works because airlines view cabin space as part retail showroom, part theater stage. By aligning your appearance with the brand narrative they want to project, you quietly become the easiest marketing decision they can make. Even with algorithms, upgrade lists, and elite tiers, the final minutes before boarding remain a gray zone where chaos overrides hierarchy. Airlines allow agents to reassign seats until the very moment a passenger scans their boarding pass, and operational disruptions often trigger sudden reshuffles. A missed connection, an equipment change, or a mechanical seat fault can leave premium cabins with last-second vacancies that must be filled immediately to avoid delays. Industry insiders call this the boarding scramble, and it's one of the rare moments when human judgment briefly outruns the system. The strategy is positioning yourself within sight, but not in the way, visible, calm, and ready. Listen for telltale signals, announcements asking for volunteers, agents whispering about upgrades, or names being called for reseating. This indicates the algorithm has paused and agents are making on-the-fly choices. Approaching at this moment with soft, helpful phrasing, "I noticed you're making adjustments, and I'm happy to be flexible if it helps," frames you as a solution to their problem. Former operations managers note that during peak congestion, minimizing friction is more valuable than enforcing status order. Moving a composed economy passenger forward to fill a business seat is faster than renegotiating with high-status travelers buried deep in the boarding queue. Economically, it also salvages a high-yield asset that would otherwise depart empty, undermining profit per square foot metrics. In this narrow window, the hierarchy bends, not for loyalty, but for operational survival.
All right, have a good
If
flight.
you can stand where
Thank
chaos
you.
meets urgency without adding friction, you may become the easiest choice to upgrade. Beneath the loyalty programs and mileage charts lies a quieter, more profitable layer of influence: credit card partnerships. Airlines forge multi-million-dollar deals with major banks, and these agreements don't just exchange points, they create hidden hierarchies. Travelers carrying premium cards like Chase Sapphire Reserve or American Express Platinum are coded as high-value customers inside reservation systems, even if they rarely fly. Aviation revenue analysts confirm that banks pay airlines based on cardholder spending projections, not just ticket purchases, meaning these passengers represent
Welcome.
future
How may I
profit
help
streams. Gate agents scanning manifests can see these affiliations, and though airlines seldom advertise it, they are encouraged to protect and nurture such
Have a
relationships.
wonderful flight.
The psychological
much.
advantage is signaling this status strategically. You don't need to book your flight with the card, just possess it and mention it. A simple phrase like, "I have platinum status with American Express. Are there any complimentary upgrade options?" reframes you as part of the airline's premium ecosystem. Economically, offering a free empty business class seat to a cardholder can strengthen a lucrative banking alliance worth far more than the lost ticket revenue. Industry consultants note this behavior surged post-COVID-19 pandemic as airlines leaned heavily on co-branded credit card income while passenger numbers lagged. Most travelers never leverage this, assuming status means frequent flyer miles alone. But in the modern revenue model, financial status can rival travel status, and wielding it properly can move you forward when loyalty points cannot. These 6 strategies may look like clever tricks from the passenger side, but from the inside, they reveal something far more consequential: how commercial aviation quietly manipulates behavior to maximize profit per seat. Every seat upgrade that feels like luck is actually the byproduct of algorithms balancing unsold inventory against brand optics, staff psychology, and long-term revenue forecasts. Airlines have spent decades perfecting these systems to ensure that no square foot of cabin space flies unmonetized. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, this machinery has only grown sharper. With global carriers recovering from record losses, business class cabins have become both a financial lifeline and a psychological illusion. Rows of luxury that are rarely full, yet must always appear exclusive. Understanding how to step through these cracks doesn't just improve your comfort. It exposes how tightly orchestrated the passenger experience really is. The so-called random upgrade is not generosity, but a strategic pressure valve, opening only when it protects revenue flow. As long as most travelers remain unaware, the system stays intact. But for those who see the patterns, timing their check-in, shaping perception, and signaling value at the right moment, the back of the plane stops being a sentence and becomes a choice. This is no longer about luck. It's about reading the hidden economics of flight and using them to rise above the noise.